Donald Trump is panicking. Not only has his 48-hour ultimatum to Iran been rejected, but American troops are now expressing how angry they are at Donald Trump and his regime. You are aware, based on our prior reporting, that Iran said it will not give up control over the Strait of Hormuz in 48 hours. After Donald Trump threatened war crimes against Iran, that he would blow up all of the energy civilian infrastructure if Iran didn't give up the Strait of Hormuz. Now, we're hearing from U.S. troops. Here's what U.S. troops are saying behind the scenes. And we already knew that morale was very low, especially amongst the Navy members of the USS Gerald Ford and the Abraham Lincoln. Now, we're hearing those being sent on this Marine Expeditionary Force that are likely being sent to Iran to invade the Kar Island are absolutely livid. Their families are obviously incredibly worried. Nobody knows what the goals and objectives are. And Donald Trump just rants and raves like a lunatic on social media. U.S. troops in the Iran conflict are increasingly uneasy, citing stress, safety concerns, and unclear goals. Some describe a lack of planning, with one official warning: a ground operation would be an absolute disaster. Many troops are questioning the purpose of the war in the first place, with some saying, quote, "We do not want to die for Israel. We do not want to be political pawns." This comes from a recent report by Huffington Post, and in the past 24 hours, Donald Trump has been calling lots of different reporters, many reporters in Israel. For example, he called Israel's Channel 13, and here's what he stated about his recent ultimatum against Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. You'll find out soon what's going to happen. You're going to find out soon. It's going to be very good. Total decimation of Iran. It's going to work out very good. They've been very bad for 47 years. Iran, now they're going to get their comeuppance. And then Donald Trump attacked NATO on this phone call with Naria Kraus of Channel 13 in Israel. They're not doing anything. It is too bad. Too bad. Israel, of course, is very supportive in a wide-scale attack on Iran's energy facilities. They've announced this on Israel Public Broadcasting Corporation. Benjamin Netanyahu said, "Anything we do together with the United States, even if that means blowing up the civilian energy infrastructure in Iran." Iran has responded, "You do that. We'll go after the desalination facilities and energy infrastructure in the surrounding Arab nations that have American military bases on them." Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi put out the following message on his social media platform yesterday. "The Strait of Hormuz is not closed. Ships hesitate because insurers fear the war of choice you initiated, not Iran. No insurer and no Iranian will be swayed by more threats. Try respect. Freedom of navigation cannot exist without freedom of trade. Respect both or expect neither." Then you have the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps spokesperson mocking Donald Trump in English, saying, "Hey Trump, you're fired. You're familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter." They are mocking the United States. Never before, at least in my lifetime, and the lifetime of my parents and grandparents, or I think ever, has the United States been mocked and laughed at in this way, as Donald Trump goes on social media ranting and raving like a lunatic. Here, play what this IRGC spokesperson just said here. Let's play this clip.
Hey Trump, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya.
Donald Trump's been going on social media to mock Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And Donald Trump's also been going on social media to rant and rave about the Save America Act. And he continues to talk about, like, genital mutilation. And that's what Donald Trump's big word right now is: mutilization, everybody. And we need to stop mutilization. Donald Trump says, "I don't think we should make any deal with crazy, country-destroying, radical left Democrats unless and until they vote with Republicans to pass the Save America Act. It's far more important than anything else we're doing in the Senate." Donald Trump then says that he's going to send ICE into all of the airports starting today because of no transgender mutilization. And that's why he's sending ICE agents. Democrats have said, "Look, we're happy to fund TSA. We want to fund TSA." Democrats have introduced a lot of bills to make sure all the airports are funded. But Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans want to make sure that ICE agents wear masks, that ICE agents do not have to follow due process requirements of the Constitution, and that ICE agents can appear at polling stations, and that ICE agents don't have to identify themselves. Those are non-negotiables to the Republicans, and those are the non-negotiables for Democrats to further fund ICE. My personal view, speaking for myself, I want to see ICE and Border Patrol completely abolished. But Donald Trump just admitting in that message that I just posted that he will not agree to any deal unless something about gender mutilization. Again, we're at a war. Americans can't afford things right now. This is a disastrous war. that looks like it's about to escalate even more, with Donald Trump sending troops that appear to be ready for a ground invasion. And this is the type of stuff that he is out there posting right now. American officials are telling its allies, or I guess former allies, that the U.S. will likely be forced to launch this ground operation to capture Karg Island in the Strait of Hormuz pretty soon. This was published in the I-24 latest news edition. Trump tells Channel 14 he expects to come to Jerusalem in April to receive the Israel Prize. So, Donald Trump bragging about that. That's what he called up Channel 14 to say. The visit, if finalized, would make a major symbolic moment for Donald Trump. Really? The Israel Prize? What are we even talking about here? Now, Hannah Brandt, a reporter from News Nation, asked Donald Trump what he thinks of Iran's foreign minister, saying they won't be swayed by Donald Trump's threats and Trump's 48-hour ultimatum. To which Donald Trump said, "Okay, let's see whether or not he's right. What are you doing? Like corny movie lines?" This is life or death stuff. And this is how Donald Trump is behaving. So from that contingent of 4,500 U.S. sailors and Marines heading to the Middle East, Washington Post is saying that this Israeli official, who appears to be on notice that Trump is preparing this invasion of the Karg Islands, says about our Marines here in the United States. Those Marines are not coming for decor, for decoration. There's a reason that they are coming here. That this operation, this ground invasion of Iran, could take a few weeks. That's what they're saying. Here's an interesting article from The Atlantic, which Fox News explains, but this is from The Atlantic, about what the U.S. troops would face in an invasion of Karg Island. Sure, the U.S. troops may well take Karg Island, only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, and prochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. Because if you think about it, Karg is far from American assets in Kuwait City, very close to Iran's coast. And this, most people who know anything about military logistics say, this will obviously be a disaster. We'll be throwing our Marines into a meat grinder. Basically, by the way, the same way Putin does that in Ukraine. It's important to note as well, the CEO of Saudi Arabia's Aramco, the world's largest oil company, has now withdrawn from a major energy conference in Houston, which was supposed to start today, as the situation in the Middle East threatens to escalate further. The conference was set for today, when Trump's ultimatum expires in a few hours. No doubt that the Middle East is on edge for reprisals from such an attack. And one of the things to focus on as well, as Fox News puts it, and we've been talking about it, is you gotta watch what's happening in the Red Sea. The Houthis have not yet gotten involved in this war, and I think they've deliberately have held back, waiting for Iran's signal to shut down the Red Sea. The way the Persian Gulf right now is at a standstill at this moment. And again, Donald Trump is spending his time attacking Reza Pahlavi, the son of the Shah, calling him a loser prince. According to reporting by the New Yorker, Trump is attacking NATO at the same time. And you have the head of Iran's parliament, MB Ghalibaf, posting the following. Alongside military bases, those financial entities that finance the U.S. military budget are legitimate targets. U.S. Treasury bonds are soaked in Iranians' blood. Purchase them, and you purchase a strike on your headquarters and assets. We monitor your portfolios. This is your final notice. A few other points that we need to focus on as well. Number one, that Patriot missile. The strike in Bahrain that took place early in the war. And remember March 9th? There was a major blast 10 days into the war where 32 people were injured, including children, some very seriously injured in Bahrain. And this was blamed on Iran. Well, what seems to have happened, and Reuters is reporting it, and it's not being denied by our Department of Defense anymore, is that a Patriot missile interceptor shooting down an Iranian drone was actually what was responsible for this strike on Bahrain. Should also be noted that NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is saying that the alliance cannot confirm Israel's claim that the missiles targeting Diego Garcia were of Iranian origin, were of Iranian intercontinental ballistic missiles. So, begs the question, whose missiles were it? And why can't that be confirmed? More data coming out. More information coming out. A great report from the New York Times on this, how Netanyahu and Trump embraced this report by the Mossad, saying that if there were initial strikes against Iran, it would trigger a popular uprising against the Ayatollah, and people would reclaim Iran for democracy. The opposite is what's transpired. I mean, take a look right here what happened yesterday. And again, these are the types of scenes that we're seeing in Iran right now, where the pro-democracy protesters were out in January. And Trump promised to help him but threw him under the bus, and they got massacred. Here you're seeing pro-Ayatollah, pro-IRRGC, pro-Islamic Republic mourners outside in the city of Kashan, and they're out there to bury IRGC spokesman Ali Mohammed Nayani, who was killed this past weekend in U.S.-Israeli strikes. Look at the amount of people who are there right now. Look, the American people don't support this war. 66% view this as a war of choice right now. Donald Trump was spending the weekend golfing. You see his cars arriving at the West Palm Beach Golf Club over the weekend. That's what Trump was spending his time doing. And meanwhile, you had people in the Trump regime or close proximity to it, like Lindsey Graham saying, of course we should invade the car island. We did Uwima. Let's do the car. This is easy for us. Here's what Lindsey Graham had to say. Let's play this clip.
Obliterated, and they're running out of money. So here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from The Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take Carg Island. We believe their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair quarterbacking. This has been an amazing military operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines, not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. The Marines, my money is always on the Marines. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine.
Meanwhile, you have Benjamin Netanyahu giving interviews. And here he's saying, whatever we do in partnership with the United States regarding striking the energy infrastructure of Iran. Let's play this clip.
Overnight, President Trump said that if in 48 hours the Iranians don't open the Strait of Hormuz, that there will be strikes against the power grids in Iran. Will you participate in those strikes? And what do you think should happen next in this campaign?
I think President Trump knows exactly what he's doing. And whatever we do together and as far as possible in confidence.
And somehow, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent believes that we're doing jujitsu to Iran and Russia by removing the sanctions on them and allowing Iran and Russia to make billions of dollars selling their oil in the global oil market. That's us showing strength. He said it's us doing jujitsu. Here is what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said. Let's play it.
So why is the U.S. helping to fund a country that it's currently at war with, Mr. Secretary?
Again, Kristen, why don't we have good facts here? That Iranian oil was always going to be sold to the Chinese. It was going to be sold at a discount. So which is better, Kristen? Which is better? If oil prices spiked to $150 and they were getting 70% of that, or oil prices below 100, it's better to have them where they are now. And to be clear, we had always planned for this contingency. About 140 million barrels are out on the water. In essence, we are jujitsuing the Iranians. We are using their own oil against them. We have a much better line of sight, to be clear, at Treasury when this oil goes to, if it goes to Indonesia, if it goes to Japan, if it goes to Korea, we have a much better line of sight and are able to block accounts that the oil goes into. When it goes into China, it completely gets recycled. So to be clear, that 14 billion number is grossly overstated.
Well, there you have it, folks. We'll keep you posted, of course, every step of the way. We try to give you these comprehensive updates in the next, at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be doing a big breaking news, major announcement here on the My channel. Thank you all for watching. We truly appreciate your support. Make sure to hit subscribe and stay connected.